the number 86 of Owen Jenner. Remember, he will be looking to maximise this when he took the pole position. If he can pick up the 25-pointer, he is currently enjoying a 51-point advantage. It will then be down to Seth Crump, Brodie Crockford, Cameron Dawson, and Ocean Jones, and Zach Shelton, and Aidan Davey to see what they can do before we start totting the points up, because tomorrow we could well see the championship settled. It's a long shot, but it could happen. Ready to go out then onto their green flag lap. And away they go out onto their green flag warm-up lap. Call it what you will. Formation lap, warm-up lap, green flag lap. I prefer the green flag because that's quite literally what it is. They are waved away by the green flag, and they are all on their way down to the avenue for this one. Victories so far this year, and Owen Jenner has picked up 4 of the available 6 wins. The other wins going the way of Joe Thomas, who picked up that second win at Snetterton, the one in the wet, and the other race victory went the way, that went the way of Austin Jones, didn't it, in the first race at Silverstone. What a cracking race that one was at Silverstone. And it's a brilliant race. The second race, the first 7 covered by half a second, would you believe it? The wet crash fest, the second of the 2 races at Snetterton, as Larry Carter always says, we counted them out and we counted them in. Well, only 12 of the 33 riders made it to the checkered flag. 21 of them didn't actually get to see the checkered flag. They either crashed or retired during the course of the race, and only 12 got home as a result of the weather conditions. We actually had Ocean Jones. It was half the Lord Mayor show, really. Poor Ocean Jones, he crashed on the sighting lap, as also did Ash Barnes. He crashed out on the sighting lap. Cam Dixon, he managed to crash out whilst leading, and so on it went all the way through. Cameron Dawson, he managed to crash out whilst leading as well. It's all who ducks head on the checkered linen that it's all about. Pole position then to the number 86, the 16-year-old Owen Jenner from Crowborough in East Sussex.
They used to call Tom Sykes the grinner, didn't they? Well, Owen Jenner, even behind the masks that we have to wear in the paddock these days, then I think we can christen him the smiler, can't we, Fred? Because he's got a massive cheesy grin on his face every time.
Yes, he's a lovely lad, is Owen Jenner. I was talking to him yesterday, Larry, and I said, let's see with this one, Owen. You can wrap it up this weekend because you got Donington Park to go, but not Brands Hatch. And he said, I might be at Brands Hatch. So I'm just wondering, has he got himself a stock 600 ride? Because that's where he wants to be next year, and he has already been doing track days on a stock 600. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, there, if he can win the championship and then make his debut in the stock 600. That's all ifs and maybes, that one, but Owen Jenner knows the task before him, and he sits there very calmly. MV Commercials, it says on the side of that motorcycle there. That's the new sponsor, the MV Commercials of Airdrie in Scotland, who have joined with the Leon Haslam run Affinity Sports Academy, run by John Laverty, who is here at the circuit looking after his young charges. So we're ready to go on this one then, and looking to the way in which they will dive into turn number 1. The drag race will be on. Will it be Owen Jenner, Aidan Davey, or Brodie Crockford? Brodie Crockford, cracking start by Brodie Crockford. Was it too good a start? He goes, stops the clutch, and Brodie Crockford is going to lead them. No, he's not. It's going to be Aidan Davey. It's going to be Owen Jenner. Owen Jenner from Brodie Crockford from Aidan Davey as they go in toward turn number 1. One or 2 riders running a whisker wide out onto the green stuff as they go through that opening right-hander, and Owen Jenner is your race leader then on the run up Lakeside for this the first time. Amazing performances coming from these little bikes. We were seeing the speeds of 128 miles an hour plus from the 320 Yamaha of Brodie Crockford, who's looking to take the lead away, but he don't on this occasion. He's in second place as they go on their way up toward Island Bend. It is Owen Jenner leading this one then from Brodie Crockford. In that second place, Aidan Davey is running their third as they pour their way through the right hand, and looks as if that may well be the number 46 rider, the next one up, and that one then will be Ashley Barnes. Ashley, who managed to break his wrist earlier on this year, back in March, through the chicane, and then coming up over past the deserted periphery of the fence. They go through the left, and then the right, and then the left. And Owen Jenner is your race leader, the number 86 from the 55 in second place, and that then is Brodie Crockford. Brodie Crockford, talking to him yesterday, and boy, has he grown up. He must have put about 9 inches on in height over the winter months, Brodie Crockford. He was a very small, slight of stature rider that we got to know last year, but he really has put the weight on, and he's now knocking on the door, I would say about 5'10" or so tall, if not taller than that. In toward Druids they come, and that looking Still Owen Jenner as they come up toward that. Good start there also by the... Well, good pause there as they come on their way up, because here's the classic overtake on the inside at Lodge Corner. Any overtake here? Owen Jenner, here's Crawford looks on the side now. Owen Jenner just hold it on the inside and then toward the dip, and now coming up to complete lap number 1. We can read them through as they go through to complete number 1. That will certainly be Owen Jenner, the championship leader, and there one say the early juncture champion-elect from Cropford, from Barnes, from Davey, from Crump, from Ocean Jones, from Smith, from Dawson, from Connell, from Pinson, from Dixon, from Armstrong, from McManus, Shelton, then Lewis Jones, that's Lewis Michael Jones, Allen, Leatherland, Hopper, Thomas, Banham, Smart, Hall, Chloe Jones, Valente, Dickinson, Johnson, Coyne, then Lewis Jones from the back row of the grid up now to 28th position. That's the number 25 rider who crashed on the opening lap of the qualifier. We're going no further down than that one as we go back with the race leaders and looking on the inside. No way through there, but again, Brady Crockford, that's Aidan Davey and Ash Barnes vying for 3rd and 4th position.
Young James Rose in to retire, Fred, as well.
And that is?
James Rose, number 28.
Okay, that into retire then, and down in toward the pit lane. You can see them away to the left-hand side down here as the leaders themselves are now on their way up toward the, yes, number 28 now confirmed on the screen as a, well, it says entered pit, so it's going to be a retirement. That number 28 then out there of... James Rose Jr. First time here at the circuit for James Rose Jr. and his first season on the big wheels and just learning his craft and just gets quicker and quicker with the circuits as he goes to them. That's young James Rose Jr. The 13-year-old, only just 13 years of age, a month or so ago. James Rose Jr. from Doncaster. Back with the leaders, and Owen Jenner doing what Owen Jenner does best, and that is leading from the front. Having said that, that second race at Donington, if you recall, he actually did the overtake on the grass on the run down toward the Robert Furnell's right and left chicane, and he said he knew exactly what he was doing. The green stuff had as much grip as the black stuff, and he was quite happy doing the overtake on the grass was Owen Jenner. That moving up into second place, and looks like that is moving up into second place, then is that Aidan Davey, as they'll be coming up now to complete what would be lap number 2. This should give us the first of the flying lap times here, and this will give us an indication because the lap record held by Aidan Davey at 152.316 and still stays there because Aidan Davey fastest in second place at 53.064, and that is down there. That is that just pause there. That may well be Luke Allen has gone down there. Just pausing there. Rider's perfectly okay. We will get a sign. That was at Lodge Corner. That was moving in toward Lodge Corner, and indeed it was the number 64 of Kevin Coyne. Kevin Coyne from the village of Farranfore in County Kerry. It's a long way to come, isn't it, from the Republic of Ireland, which midway between Tralee and Killarney, only to do a lap and a half and sling it unceremoniously away at Lodge Corner. The good news is that the number 64 rider is okay, as we can go back then with the race leaders. Owen Jenner leads as they go in toward Britain Chicane, coming up over Hilltop. In the old days, that used to be a straight run through there over Hilltop, and then straight run down toward what is now the right and left and right, but that used to be a straight sweeping right-hander at 140 miles an hour, and how frightening was that? Owen Jenner really now being that's actually Barnes who's leading this one. Now that actually is Barnes. So where is Owen Jenner? Number 96 stopped with a technical problem. That is the number 96 of Ross Banham has retired. So that is Barnsley that's leading this one. So where is Owen Jenner? We'll see as they make their way. He's in... Oh, let me have a look now because in toward Druids Corner. He's back to third place. He's gone back into third position. So taking over the lead then, that is Aidan Davey, the Scottish rider. Aidan Davey from the fishing town of Preston Pans, just east of Edinburgh, leads this one then from Ash Barnes, who's running then in second place. That will then be the erstwhile leader back into third position. And that then is the 16-year-old of Owen Jenner, as we get the young Scottish rider of Aidan Davey coming up then to complete lap number 2 as your race leader, coming up to complete lap number 3 as your race leader. The current lap record holder of Aidan Davey, 153.064. Doesn't bet it on this occasion. Again through there, Davey, Barnes, Jenner, Crockford, Austin Jones up now into 5th position. Then it is Seth Crump, number 57, Smith, number 4. McManus moves up a place now. That is the number 14, moving up there of Wee James McManus. Not so wee nowadays. He's another rider who's put a bit of height on over the winter months, and that's James McManus. And we all say hello to his grandmother because Grandma Mary will be listening in on the BSB radio over there at Randallstown in Northern Ireland. She was absolutely delighted to hear that he got that second place at Silverstone. James McManus here are your leaders through, just pausing there because up in the second place then has gone Ashley Barnes. Ashley Barnes then holding that second place, coming under pressure then from the number 38 of Aidan Davey, meaning then that Owen Jenner's gone back into lead. It is Jenner that is your race leader, as they are already on their way up toward, and Owen Jenner took the lead on the run in toward turn number 1. He came from third position, and he'd totally forgotten what that front lever on the right-hand handlebar was about, because he just scorched his way underneath the shoulder of Barnes, and that's Ocean Jones. Ocean Jones is now moving up here. The 15-year-old Ocean Jones from Riddermoen near Maud, which is probably about 30 miles or less from the circuit here at Oulton Park on the North Welsh coast. Riddermoen used to have a racetrack there many, many years ago, and this is Ocean Jones, the number 5 rider, just 15 years of age. And he's still leading this one as they go in toward Druids. There's 5 riders nose to tail, mate. That's 6-7 riders nose to tail. And here come the 6 riders, count them out now as they separate out. The tail end of the 6 is actually Brodie Crockford. He's gone to the tail end of the gaggle, but it is Owen Jenner that is your race leader. And this is the championship leader with that very, very comfortable championship advantage of 51 points. To complete another rider stopped with a technical problem. That then is the number 52 is a retirement, and that number 52 is Cam Dixon on the SBR 400 Kawasaki, the Seb Bullpin Racing Kawasaki. Rider perfectly okay. Owen Jenner is your race leader from Ash Barnes from Aidan Davey as they go into Ward Cascades. Took well down behind the bubble. This is all about streamlining. Pull the arms in, pull the shoulders in, pull the knees in, pull the feet in. Make maximum use of streamlining. And now that's 4 machines wide into Ward Island Bend. That surely can't work. It does work though. 4 machines wide of the 6 riders then on their way into Ward Island Bend, and they make their way then into Ward Shell Oars. They favourably cambered right-hander there, and in that Aidan Davey there where's Aidan? He's gone back to 4 pace, has he? Through Britain say come, and then once again up over Hilltop. The only certainty at the moment is that it is Owen Jenner who is your race leader, and that would be the number 86. They're running then in second place. That's number 46. That is certainly not Valentino Rossi, but it is Ashley Barnes, the 14-year-old who won the British Motorcycle Racing Club Team Green Championship last year, and he one of those riders who been signed to run for the Affinity Sports Academy MV Commercials squad. Very successful choice of riders they've had on that one, I must say, and Leon has them very much integral with selecting his riders. Oh, nipping through on this side goes Ash Barnes, the 14-year-old just goes through on this side. As I was saying, back in March he managed to break his right wrist when he crashed whilst testing a Cartagena in Spain, and came back to on the short circuit and broke his collarbone in July. That necessitated surgery. He loses the lead once again to Owen Jenner at Lodge Corner. The classic overtake last turn, that right-hander where we've seen so many overtakes on the very last lap of we're respective of championship class. Ocean Jones, he's pushed back now to, well, he was back to 5th place. He rides around the side of Aidan Davey in toward turn number 1, and right there in the slipstream is Brodie Crockford. That again is make that 5 machines wide down the avenue before they go back into line of turn action through the left-hander of Cascade. And that looks like it's Owen Jenner on the inside as they make their run up toward pause there. No, it's not, because that then is, yes, it is Owen Jenner that just merges to take the lead into Ward Island Bend. Now looking once again on the inside, they come into Ward. Here comes Ash Barnes, number 46 on the inside then to take that lead back. Ocean Jones is running there in 3rd place. That then will be Aidan Davey, number 38, running then behind him. It will then be Brodie Crockford and Seth Crump in that order behind the leading gaggle. But 6 riders there. This is a 12-wheeled machine that is battling here. Ocean Jones, the number 5 rider, Dan, the elder brother, and Ewan, and don't be confused over the spelling of that, because it's I-W-A-N, Iwan, but it is pronounced as Ewan, the youngest rider, the 12-year-old. Lovely young lad is Ewan, and he was telling me all about the family yesterday as up Clay Hill come the leaders. Just looking to the speeds through the speed trap here, and over the start-finish line, we've got, 106 miles an hour, the fastest rider over the start-finish line. Along Lakeside, that will be at, just pausing to see there, just about 115 miles an hour along Lakeside. I think Aidan Davey holds the And this Aidan Davey goes back into the lead. Aidan Davey just nips through on the inside. Must confess that when I did see the advanced entry list for this one, I had got down Owen Jenner, but Aidan Davey was certainly one of my pre-series favourites for this championship series. A rider who set off at Silverstone for pole position and then double wins last year. Then it was disaster thereafter and ruined his season. That only saw him finish 6th in the championship chase. Here, coming into the lead, then coming into Ward. Just pause there because that looks like Esparza again goes back into lead into Ward turn number 1. That is, well, I could say a 7 machine rider is a machine. The battle is not, because they are now 6 riders they got amongst the back traffic. At the end of that lap, and let's just quickly give you the rundown: Jenner, Davey, Barnes, Crockford, Austin Jones, Crump, Smith, McManus, Shelton, Pinson. That's your top 10, followed by Hopper, Thomas, Dixon, Lewis, Michael Jones, Armstrong, Allen, Connell, Letherland, Hall, Chloe Jones, Lewis Jones, Johnson, Smart, Dickinson, Wilson, Sellers, Laidlaw, Coyne, Longmore and Taylor of the 30 riders that have gone through to complete lap number 6. We're back with the leaders, and they are already on their drop down toward the Hislop chicane. Be cracking on down there at over 110 miles. Now Owen Jenner back into the lead from Ash Barnes, who looks on the inside, not with any serious intent. They'd probably be a better advantage look over his shoulder, because there's serious intent coming from Ossian Jones, the number 5 rider. Ossian, the number 5 rider who currently runs 5th in the championship series. And looking to these championship leaders there, we've got Owen Jenner, who is the championship leader. We've got Ash Barnes, disappointingly down in 8th position. I think it's Ash Barnes, the number 46 rider, as through... Just looking to Ash, he took pole position for Silverstone and then crashed on the very last lap whilst running in 2nd position. He actually was racing at Cadwell Park last weekend at the No Limits meeting and picked up at 4 or 5 race victories, did Ash Barnes. So he is, as the Americans will say, hot to trot. Crockford's hot to trot. He's come up to 2nd place. Brady Crockford now has come from the back of the pack up into 2nd place, just ahead of Ash Barnes. And then it will be Aidan Davey. Then it's Ossian Jones, who's gone back behind him now. Ossian now comes back once again on Aidan Davey. We're now into lap number 8. 152.536 is the fastest lap. 152.536, just 0.22 of a second shy of lap record pace. But this is a typical scorcher for the HEL Performance British Junior Supersports. Who's going to lead into Ward? Ossian now goes for the first time. That then is number 5 of Ossian Jones, who is your race leader. The rider from Ridamowen near Mold in North Wales is your race leader for the first time. Owen Jenner, championship leader, has gone back into 3rd place, just ahead of Aidan Davey. And right on the tail of Aidan Davey is Ash Barnes, and then Seth Crumpet is number 57, the tallish ginger-haired Seth Crump. And into all the closing stages of this, and we promise you this will be a cracker, and it's not disappointed as ever. Brody Crockford, number 55, is your race leader. Brody, who currently runs equal 3rd in the championship chase. Remember that Brody Crockford, he will be looking here to pick up as many points as he can. He will want to finish ahead of Owen Jenner, and Jenner in turn will want to finish ahead of everybody else to endorse his desire to wrap the championship up this weekend. This is all going to come down, I think, to the final run into Ward Lodge Corner in 1.5 laps time. Well, less than 1.5 laps. Crockford leads this one from Ossian Jones as they go through Druids for this the first time. Ossian, the rider looks on the inside. No, he doesn't, because coming on the inside comes Aidan Davey to take 2nd place. Yes, he does. Nips on to take 2nd place. Aidan Davey, the Scottish rider from the Welsh rider. And Owen Jenner, championship leader, has gone back into 4th place. That is not what the doctor ordered in any shape or form for Owen Jenner. He's got to work now. He's got to dig deep now. Has Owen Jenner as they go into Ward Oulton corner for the first time. Brady Crockford leads this one. Ossian Jones is running in 2nd place. Aidan Davey runs their 3rd. It is Owen Jenner running their 4th place. Jenner breaks formation to look as they go down toward Cascades. He's got Ash Barnes breathing down his neck pretty earnestly is Ash Barnes there, and then it is Seth Crump. Well, he's on the 10 of this gaggle. He's got the best seat in the house. Not making inroads here as Owen Jenner still there in 4th position. Could all change in the twinkling of an eye. Brody Crockford is your race leader in towards Shell Horse Corner for this final climb. Brodie Crockford, he's not had a win. He's had a second at Donington Park. He's had a third at Silverstone, but yet to pick up a win this year is young Brodie Crockford. Well, his dad, John, was almost beside himself with delight when he got his first result last year. Young Brodie Crockford picked up that second place at Donington Park last year. This is heading for his first ever win. He's not home yet, though. He's certainly not home as yet. In that second place is Oulton Jones. Oulton Jones runs there in second place, and third place then it is Aidan Davey. And Owen Jenner, the championship leader, is there in fourth position. This could well mean that this championship will go on to the final round of the championship series at Donington Park in a couple of weeks' time. Well, of course, they've got another race tomorrow, but he needed the win here. And here comes Aidan David looking up to go up into second place. He does. Oulton Jones goes back to third place. Brodie Crockford is the race leader on the 350 Paul Denning Crescent Yamaha up toward Lodge Corner for the final time. Here comes Aidan David, the Scottish rider, on the inside to take the lead away. Yes, he does. That typical overtake at Lodge Corner. And it's Aidan David. This is the drag toward the flag. Is it going to be the Yamaha or is it going to be the Kawasaki? It's going to be the Kawasaki. Aidan Davies is going to do it shortly on the drag toward the flag. It is. Owen Jenner's going to finish third as they go across the line then to see the check. In fact, they're into the final lap. 1 lap to go. It is 1 lap to go. Slightly premature that. 1 lap to go on this one, and the excitement will still be there for another 2.5 miles. And Owen Jenner is making his move. Owen Jenner is up then into, I pause there, third position. Oulton Jones are looking to steal one away from him in toward Cascades, but it is Aidan Davey now on the outside. This should favour the blue Crescent Yamaha on the inside. It doesn't, because here comes Owen Jenner trying around the outside, and he now is asking some searching questions, some serious questions being asked of the two leaders. Oh, that goes down there. The boys get tangled up there, and they go down there. In fact, 3-4 riders do get tangled up on the way in toward the final round. Owen Jenner is one of them. He's the innocent victim there is Owen Jenner. I think it may well have been Seth Crumb, and I'm not sure who the other rider was as they got tangled up, and that pirouetted end over end. That's going to leave Crockford now with a huge advantage, and last lap drama indeed, ladies and gents, on this one, because that was a big incident there on the braking point in toward Lodge Corner, and that has taken, I think, 3 or 4 of the leading 6 riders out on this one, and a red flag has been displayed on that one, which will go back a lap on that one. They will go back for the result on that, and of course those riders who were not racing at the time, those riders who did end up in the gravel trap across there, will be taken out of the result. Owen Jenner, I could see, was up onto his feet, and he was okay. Just like to see the replay of that one to see which the catalyst was, but that is Owen Jenner. I think that Owen will be credited with third position on this one, but there's 3 or 4 of the riders that were involved in that incident. One of the Kawasaki's did a big endo as it clobbered into the back of one of the others, but very much under control there with the race safe marshals. We're just going back to lap number 9, and I think it will confirm. Well, of course, Owen Jenner didn't see the checker flag. He'll be taken out of it. We go back then to 9 laps, and those riders who you have to be competing at the point that the red flag goes out to be considered in the results. So that'll take Jenner out of the results, and it'll take the other riders out, and it does now. So it looks as if the result is going to be given the way of Brodie Crockford. Brodie Crockford is going to pick up his first victory. Oulton Jones, well, pause there because it's still shuffling about here. It is still shuffling about. I think that Oulton may well have been one of the riders that was involved in that incident across there. Yes, he was. Just pause with me, ladies, because the timekeepers now are getting indications of the riders involved and taking them out of the results at the moment. It is showing at the moment Crockford, Crump to finish second, and then to finish third, Andy Smith, who was running back in 7th position. So Andy Smith will be accredited with that third position, meaning that Owen Jenner is one of the fallen riders. Also, the fallen rider there would have been Aidan Davey. It would also have been Oulton Jones, and just trying to think who the other one was, Larry, the 4th rider that was involved in that one. But well, I can see Brodie Crockford's dad, John Crockford, absolutely delighted. He finished second his first podium last year, and Dad just didn't know what to do. He's like a dog with 2 trees. He just didn't know what to do, and now he's even worse here because that is the first victory for the number 55, the 15-year-old from Southampton, Brodie Crockford, on the Paul Denning Crescent Motorcycles 320 Yamaha. Seth Crump, he'll finish in second position, and he's done that before this year. He's had 2 second positions prior to this one. Seth Crump, third place, so we'll go to Andy Smith. That's the number 4 rider of Andy Smith. We have have to look all the way down the pecking order on this one to come up with the name of Andy Smith with regard to his results, and indeed he's not picked up a result, he's not picked up a point so far this year, Andy Smith, but Andy Smith, number 4, actually now goes with his first points onto the podium, would you believe? He had a 19th place in race 2 at Donington Park, he had a 17th place at race 1 at Snetterton, and he had a 16th place in the back of the grid when he missed the qualifying at Silverstone, did Andy Smith, but that really is a situation. Fastest lap to Sethcom, 152.360, just a whisker shy of Aidan Davis' lap record. So I think we can now confirm the result as 55 Crockford, 57 Crump, 4 Smith, 14, and that is James McManus, 17 Zach Shelton, 94, and that will be Oscar Pinson. Behind Oscar Pinson will be the number 52, and that will be Cam Dixon.